The purpose of this speech was to change someone's opinion on a topic. You want to change people's perspective on the issue. I think this is easier said than done, but I thought I did a pretty good job doing it. I felt alright going into the speech presentation. It wasn't the most prepared I've ever been for a speech, but it wasn't the least prepared. I'd probably give it about a 7 out of 10 on how I felt going in. I felt pretty good when I submitted the speech. I was super nervous during it though. That's why I was constantly pacing back and forth and rocking. I tried increasing my ethos by first of all using credible sources. This was easy because there's plenty of sources about nuclear power, especially a lot of recent studies because nuclear power is starting to become more, gather more momentum. I also tried to increase my ethos by avoiding bad reasoning. I tried to stay away from analogies and comparisons because I didn't want to make a bad comparison that made people think this person really doesn't know what they're talking about, or maybe they're over-exaggerating the safety or reliability of nuclear power and maybe I shouldn't be supporting it. And I didn't want people to do that. I really feel strongly about nuclear power and how it should be the power of the future, but I digress. I didn't have any problems with my technology during the speech. I think the biggest problem I had was finding a sturdy stand when I was recording the speech, but that wasn't the problem with technology. That was just kind of the problem with where I was recording. I think in terms of structure, the most natural part of my speech was my introduction, because that was just me talking about my opinion. The most unnatural part was citing sources. I understand why we have to cite sources, but it broke my train of thought and made it really hard to keep the speech moving forward. And for my audience, I chose people who are extremely outspoken. This was so if I said something that would easily anger people or make people turn against me, they would tell me. They would not hesitate at all to tell me why I was wrong. And I think the speech went really well because these 3 people did not stand up and leave or stand up and be like, you're wrong, you need to fix this point. And that's kind of why I think that I presented a rather neutral view. I think the strongest aspect of my argument is when I brought up the safety of new power plants. It would take someone seriously screwing up to have it melt down. I also like my argument that we need a new power source because that is true. We need to find something else to power the future. I like to think I presented a lot of logos in the speech. I used a lot of facts and statistics regarding nuclear power and how good a source it was, and I felt like that really made my logic stronger. I felt like my outline was pretty good, but when I took the information out of my outline to write the speech, it made the speech come out kind of awkward and wordy in some spots. And if I could do it again, I probably would have written my speech first and then transferred all the information from my speech into outline format. And I think that would have helped with the awkwardness of my speech. I also learned that I always have fallacies in my reasoning. This was pretty strange to know, but now that I know, I try to avoid it. But I'm always quick to make generalized things just because it's easier to make a quick generalization over something than worry about it or think about it and learn more about it, because it's easier for me at least to think in black and white. And I found this on chapter 12 in page 94, and it really changed my way of thinking. It's so hard to stop doing it now, but I've been really trying. Well, overall, I thought the speech went okay. Like I said, it wasn't my best speech I've ever given, but it easily was not the worst.